Home and Cremation Services. That's been Vital Statistics, brought to you by Cutler Funeral Home and Cremation Center.
Hello, this is Dale Nouse with Cutler Funeral Home. We are excited to kick off our 15th year of Bundle Up Laportes. Now more than ever, your help is needed for new or gently used clean winter coats, snow pants, hats, gloves, scarves, boots, and new socks and underwear. We collect items sized infant through adult. This year's drop-off locations are Cutler Funeral Home, all LaPorte City fire stations, and Northwest Health LaPorte Hospital. Monetary donations will
on 96.7 The Eagle.
Welcome, friends. It is a beautiful fall day here in LaPorte County on Monday, October 3rd. It's good to have you here on 96.7's most listened to political talk show at the noon hour. Good to have you. Now, somebody called this morning. I want to give you an announcement and an apology, a formal apology. Somebody called the station this morning, and Dennis gave them bad information. I cannot guarantee, I cannot control, I cannot manage or manipulate Dennis Siddell. I've tried. He said to the person that called that we did not have a guest on the show today. We do. We have a guest. We have two guests, actually. We have great guests all throughout the political season. You are in the political season shows where we have candidates for you each episode so that you can be more informed as you go into the ballot box this November. You only have like 35 days left to figure out who you're going to vote for if you vote on election day. Some of you have even less if you're going to vote early. Now, that person called and Dennis gave them bad information. I would like to formally apologize for my colleague who gave them the bad information. We have a great guest. I'm so sorry to my listeners today.
Want to keep going with this?
No, I think I'm good now. Thanks, Dennis. All right. Today on the show, we have LaPorte County Commissioner candidates for District 1, Republican Connie Grammarosa, who's currently a LaPorte County Council member, and Democrat incumbent Sheila Matias. If you have a question, we are not taking calls, but you can text us, and that's just as good. Just text me your question, 219-362-0522. And as long as it's somewhat legible, I'll even add the grammar and fix the grammar if I can. I will be happy to ask them. Again, that number is 219-362-0522, or you can email me at soundoff@967theeagle.com. Again, Election Day is Tuesday, November 8th, 2022. About 35 days left. If you have any other questions about candidates, keep on listening. We're going to have more shows for you coming up here in the next couple weeks. Let me start again. I'll start with Connie Grammarosa, the challenger here. Good morning. How are you? Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So tell our listeners, why are you running for commission?
Well, I was actually a commissioner in 2018. I did it for about 8 months. I really enjoyed it. I obviously lost that race at the end of the year. But the 2 years that I was out of office, nothing changed. I was still receiving those phone calls from different folks throughout the county, and they really needed some help. And the ability to be able to help those folks was rewarding. When you have folks calling you up and they're calling down to the different courthouses and offices and they can't seem to get any help, it's kind of frustrating for them, and I was glad that I could help out. So that kind of prompted me to go ahead and run for council, and I've enjoyed the time on the council as well.
All right. Well, thank you so much for being here, and I'm sure we'll have lots of questions. Hello, Sheila. How are you? Why are you seeking re-election?
So my career has been spent around public service. I started as a classroom teacher. I taught language arts, English to middle school students, and then I became involved in my community when I was a stay-at-home mother with my children. Got involved in some environmental activity, got involved as a neighborhood activist around playgrounds and parks, and ran for city council in Michigan City, where I served for 2 terms. Then my children were getting a little bit older, and I was challenged by community members to run for mayor. So I was a 2-term mayor in Michigan City. And again, that was dedicated to trying to make that community stronger and better. And so I got out of public life after that, and I was out for about 14, 15 years. And when I moved back here, I did do some traveling for a little bit and spent some time around the country and other places. When I came back, I was really glad to be home because this is my place. This is where I felt like I was back home where I needed to be and where I wanted to be. And I got involved in board work. I was on the Save the Dunes board, and I was on the Dunebrook board and Salvation Army board, and I thought that would be plenty. But I started tapping into all of the things that were happening in the community, and people kept saying, we need you, we need you to run. And so I ran for commission because I felt that was a really good spot with my experience in operations, in governmental policy, and because I really care about the community, and I'm a problem solver, and this is a great place for me to work to solve problems. So that's what I love to do.
All right, we'll start this question with Sheila and then go to Connie. So I want to ask, this is a question we received. What are you for? You're seeking re-election. Connie's seeking not re-election, but she has been a commissioner. But what do you want to do for county citizens as a commissioner specifically?
Specifically, my sweet spots are the broadband expansion issue, where I wasn't in office more than 6 months when I organized the Rural Broadband Task Force, because when I was on the campaign trail, I heard from so many families and small business owners saying, my broadband's terrible. I live out in rural LaPorte County. We can't get stable service. And the more I heard it, and then COVID came, and families were having to sit at fast food parking lots so they could do their e-learning with their children. And that is, in America, that is just not okay. So it is a heavy lift, but we've made great progress. We just have landed $7 million in state funds, and we've had additional $4 or $5 million in investment from the private internet service providers. And so my goal is to continue that work. I hate to drop any balls, and that's a huge one. The second thing that I want to say is I'm on the FMEC board, where we're investing in the heritage of LaPorte County, which is ag. We're investing in our 4-H families and children by making sure that the county fairgrounds is in a state-of-the-art facility for 12 months of use for our families. So I have a lot of things that I love to work on. The other thing is jobs. I'm an economic developer. I've done it for many years. In fact, I just received a Lifetime Achievement Award from the City of Michigan City, Economic Development Corporation of Michigan City, because of the work that I have done around job growth. So we've had some steady job growth, but there's more to do, and I would appreciate the chance to keep doing that work.
All right, I'll ask the same question to Councilwoman Grammarosa. What is it that you're for, and what do you want to do for county citizens as the commissioner specifically?
Okay, first I'd like to go back. You say you're a two-term mayor, and you did leave 7 months before your term, correct?
Yes, I did. If I could address that,
Okay.
I'd be happy to. So I was a lame duck mayor, as they say. The primary had already happened, and my controller, Chuck Oberly, was in line to be the next mayor. So I was moving, and I wanted to make sure that my children started their school year in August. So I left in June. And I'm proud to talk about that because my family is hugely important to me. I'm the mother of 6 children, and my kids are very successful because we've worked hard to raise them. So what I wanted to do is make sure that when I moved, my 2 girls would be starting their school year in the school that they would be in. They wouldn't be moving in January when I finished the term. I left the city in the black with all the projects in the queue, ready to go, and I would have had to sit on my hands for 6 months waiting for the clock to tick, and I wasn't willing to do that. The city of Michigan City has been very good to me, and the people of Michigan City understand where I was coming from.
Back to that question, though. So, Councilwoman Grammarosa, the question was, what are you for, and what do you want to do specifically for county commissioners, for the county citizens as the commissioner?
Well, I believe that this is a $41 million business. We have commissioners that are not there full time, and I obviously, for the 2 years that I was out of office, you saw the need. You saw the people, and I met the people and took the phone calls, not even in office, that had real needs and no one to address them. Currently, I look and I run through the entire county, and we look at economic development. And our economic development group really focuses on certain areas, but when you're looking at places like La Crosse, where La Crosse is having to bring in their own economic development there, and they don't have assistance. They're doing a fabulous job, believe me, they're killing it. They just brought in $7 million for water in their town and second expansion. But I would like to see that expand throughout the entire county. We have a city, both major cities, that they run their own, but we need to assist them. I think that there's a lot of projects happening right now. I mean, we have a Loves project that started even before Miss Mateus and me back in 2016. And here we are at 2022, and we still haven't gotten that. I mean, we're getting closer, but I'm just kind of floored that it has taken this long to happen. See, I haven't been in public service. I've been in business all my life. And when I moved back here as an adult, I grew up in this area. When I moved back here as an adult for retirement, I invested into this community. And I kind of saw not only the regression of how hard it is to start a business here, I saw that things don't progress as well as they should. And I would really like to be able to help out with that.
So this question will start with Councilwoman Grammarosa. We've got the LaPorte County Commission candidates in District 1 on the show today. If you have a question, you're welcome to text us at 219-362-0522 or email me at soundoff@967theeagle.com. We'll do one more question, then get to a commercial break. So both of you have experience in politics. You're both politicians, as much as politicians never want to say they're politicians. You've both been elected to service. So let's talk a little bit about, what do you think your greatest accomplishment? Councilwoman Grammarosa has been on the commission and the council. What is your greatest accomplishment politically so far?
So I will say I was caucused in May, and probably around June of 2018, the residents came to the commission meeting with a major issue. And the issue was the EMS building. At that time, the building was on the north side of Lincoln Way, and they were planning on moving it to the south side of Lincoln Way in the community. And we had some folks that live in the community come to the commissioners' meeting. We had Dr. Cora, me, and Rich Merzinski on the commission, and nobody wanted to lead it. So being that I was fresh on the commission, I decided, yes, I would lead that. I met with community members. I met with the hospital. We were able to get that land, double the size of land, put it back on the south side. We were able to get a bigger building and get $50,000 over what they had originally offered us. I think that's a huge accomplishment. Though I lost office and we weren't able to I wasn't able to get that project up and running. I mean, the commission obviously stayed with the extra $50,000 and the land that I was able to negotiate. And I think that was a huge plus. I mean, that was something to help this community in the future.
Yeah. And I think our listeners know by now, too, a lot of decisions and a lot of things that they see now are based on the work of people in previous years and things like that finally come. Some of these economic development projects and things like that always happen at a snail's pace. But I'll ask you the same question, Commissioner Matias. You've been in politics, you've been a mayor, you've been, I think, a city council person, you've been a commissioner now. What do you consider your greatest accomplishments politically to this point?
So that's a tough question. I have to say there are many accomplishments I had that have had long-standing effects. So I fought for and negotiated with Blue Chip and the Indiana Gaming Commission. So as far as the impact of a work that I've done, I would say landing Blue Chip Casino and negotiating that development agreement has had the most financial effect. Over $800 million has been invested across LaPorte County. The other thing people may not remember is that the city of Michigan City voted for the referendum to have a casino, and the rest of the county voted against it. So when the time came to begin to negotiate that agreement, I had advisors that were saying to me, you know what, don't give the county any money. Give the money to Michigan City because they're the people that supported the referendum. And I stood up against them and said, no, we are a county, we are a unified county, we are LaPorte County proud, we're going to share that money. And when you look at the impact of those dollars across this community for law enforcement, for education, for nonprofits, it's amazing. I also went against my advisors and proposed to the Indiana Gaming Commission the Michigan City Enrichment Corporation. That was to set aside a a percentage of dollars every year for nonprofit, for youth, for education that would not be a mayor or a city council's purview. It would be separate. They have their own board. And at the time, my advisor said, they will never go for this, Sheila. That's a harebrained idea. It's too innovative. It won't be. So I called Jack Thar, the president of the Gaming Commission, and said, I've got this idea, and how can we make sure that we take care of the nonprofits long after I'm gone, long after this city council is gone? And he said, bring it down, make it legal, and we'll look at it. And so we created a nonprofit called the Michigan City Enrichment Corporation, and they just celebrated their 25th anniversary last fall. Over $18 million has been distributed from that set-aside money for nonprofits, youth, children, health care for our community. So, yes, I've done a lot of things, but I have to say, long after Sheila's gone, that money will continue to contribute to our community.
All right. Well, I want to thank you both here. We've got to take a commercial break, and it's an absolute joy to have our LaPorte County Commissioners for District 1 candidates here, Republican Connie Grammarosa and Democratic candidate Sheila Matias. If you have a question, you're welcome to text. We've got a lot of questions we're going to get to here. I know you guys have been blowing up the text line, 219-362-0522. We're going to take a real quick commercial break and get back to your questions right after this, only on 96.7 The Eagle.
Hi, I'm Connie Grammarosa, and I'm running for commissioner because I care about our county. As a current council member, I've questioned the large expenditures that go through as emergency purchases when indeed they should be routine maintenance. While making financial decisions, I put you, the taxpayer, first. My opponent used your tax dollars to install mute buttons in the commissioner's meeting room to mute you, the taxpayer. I will make a motion to have them removed. I will strongly advise that we have public comment not only at the beginning of meetings, but at the end, giving you the opportunity to voice your opinion. One of the commissioner's duties as CEO is to oversee the day-to-day operations. Some will argue it's a part-time position. I pledge to be a full-time commissioner. I'm Connie Grammarosa, and I'm asking for your vote on or before November 8th. I'm Connie Grammarosa, and I approve this message.
Ben Conowitz here, owner of LaPorte Seamless Gutter. My parents started LaPorte Seamless Gutter in 1982 with one goal in mind, really. Our customers' 100% satisfaction. And we are still providing the same customer service that Tim and Seal Conowitz started all those years ago. Give us a call today for a free estimate at 219-362-9972, or you can visit us on the web, www.lpseamless.com. 219-362-9972.
Hi, this is Andy Heineck, candidate for LaPorte County Sheriff. As a military veteran and a 22-year member of the Sheriff's Office who has worked in every division, I believe I have the experience to be your next sheriff. My goals once elected are reduce recidivism amongst the inmates, expand our mental health services, and focus on the heroin epidemic. I've dedicated my life to serving our community, and I'm asking for your support. Please vote Andy Heineck for sheriff. Paid for by the committee to elect Heineck sheriff.
Michiana weather. Highs around 66 this afternoon. Under sunny skies, northeasterly winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Lows level off around 38 tonight. Tomorrow, highs around 69. From the Weather Center at hometovnnewsnow.com. Right now, 62.
We're waiting to hear from you. Dial or text 362-0522 and let us know what you think. That's 362-0522. Back to Sound Off on 96.7 The Eagle.
Welcome back, friends. It's good to have you with us on today's show. It's October 3rd here in LaPorte County. Well, probably elsewhere too, but especially in LaPorte County, it's October 3rd. We've got LaPorte County Commission candidates in the studio. If you have a question, you can text us. Please do not call. We're not taking calls today, but if you have a question, do text us, 219-362-0522, and we will get to your text. You can also email me at soundoff@967theeagle.com as well. So our candidates in today are LaPorte County Commission District 1 candidates, Sheila Matias, who's the incumbent Democrat, and Republican Councilwoman Connie Grammarosa, who did serve as time on the commission in the past. So here's a question for you. This has been asked, I think, of all of our council candidates that were coming in, so it gets asked quite a bit through our questions. So there's a lot of people, and we'll start with Sheila this time and then get to Connie. So there are a lot of people, including the mayor of LaPorte and the Main Street Association in LaPorte, that are very concerned with the traffic downtown in LaPorte going down Lincoln Way. And there's proposal to try to get a lot of the semi-traffic off there, a lot of the through traffic, to make it a better place to shop and eat outside. What are your thoughts on the proposed north-south corridor? Do you favor this idea? Obviously, there's a couple different proposals, but do you think this is an important idea to follow?
So the latest proposals that I've actually seen drawings of, I do not support. And here's why. It takes too much ag land and too much family home. It impacts family homes in a really negative way. I do, however, understand that there is an issue. So I'll put my mayor's hat on first. And rather than a $180 million project, I would ask if the city of LaPorte would consider putting a weight limit on Lincoln Way and having a large, hefty fine. Truckers will pay attention to fines to try to get rid of some of that truck traffic without the $180 million investment. Try that for a year. Do that. Make sure that's heavily monitored, that a trucker who's not doing a local delivery has a $500 warning and then a $500 ticket, and it moves to $1,000. Do something that is proactive. If that does not work, and there's still too many non-local delivery trucks, and the city still feels that we need to do something, then I do think that there are some proposals where your Seavers to Boyd Boulevard proposals where you're actually going around the city. I think that's much more palatable for people. Perhaps Seavers Road residents would not appreciate it because it will mean more traffic on their street, but something's got to give. I understand that the city of LaPorte is trying to develop. They've done a great job. Mayor Dermody and his team are doing a great job. And I know that the Main Street Association, I've talked to them, they have an issue and they cannot develop with heavy, lots of heavy truck traffic. I sometimes count the trucks. There are trucks there, no doubt. A lot of them are local delivery and local. We have manufacturing. Howmet and some of our large manufacturers are right at the end of Lincoln Way. And so it's a conundrum, but with some good innovative thinking, I think we can solve it.
All right, Councilwoman Grammarosa, I'll give you the same question. Again, the corridor, north-south corridor that's been proposed by Mayor Dermody to go around. There's been a couple different plans and a couple different options to go, but it certainly will take county land, and it would take county budget or county money. Now, the mayor says, again, that a lot of that will be state and federal funds with infrastructure bills. But what are your thoughts total of this project?
The reality is this has been going on 20 plus years. I mean, this is nothing new. The commission under Ms. Mateus obviously did a resolution, and they already drew up what they wanted and how the trucks to go through the resolution. There's definitely an advantage to being the commissioner, being her, because she's privy to see all those maps and to sit in those meetings. As a council person, I'm not privy to that information. I'm not privy to seeing those maps. I do believe that there's a problem there, and it's a problem that's going to need to be addressed. But for me to make a comment and say how, when, or where, or how we're going to fund this, I couldn't tell you that because on the council, we're not privy to that information.
But do you support the north-south corridor as a whole, though? I mean, the idea of it without having all the details, or no?
How do you support something? I mean, maybe in government, if you've ran and you've been in government for 20 plus years, you can go out there and you can support something blindly. I'm from private sector. You said that I was a politician earlier. I was on the commission for 8 months. I've been on the council for a year and 7-8 months. I'm less than 3 years into politics, and you want me to make a decision on
Sure.
that, when in private sector we don't do that. You don't go and you don't make decisions until you have all the facts. See, the difference is when I invest, I have to invest my own money. When people in politics invest, they're investing with taxpayers' money. So I think that me coming onto the board is going to be a different perspective, because you're going to get somebody who knows what it is to invest their own money in businesses versus someone who has invested taxpayers' money.
All right. Thank you so much.
So if I could
Go ahead.
respond to that. I think the biggest privilege and the biggest honor is to win the citizens' vote, because they are giving you permission to spend their money. No nothing is more important than that. So when I talk to 18-year-olds I'm trying to encourage them to be involved in their community, be involved in civic life, I say to them, in America, adults who earn money have to pay taxes on that money. And somebody is going to spend that money on your behalf. They're going to decide which roads to pave, how many police officers or sheriff deputies they can afford, what the plows, the service, snow service, and road repair, parks, community safety. Those are issues that they will decide using your money. Nothing is more sacred to me than making sure that the dollars we are spending are dollars that are being used to build our community up. So to say that I'm a longtime politician, I understand that's, Connie's her story, but I have been in business for many years. I worked for the state of Washington. I ran 4 business offices, workforce development offices when I was there. I also own a small business in Michigan City with my husband, so I understand about investing our own dollars into business, but the tax dollars are different. I'm not privy to any secret information. The information I'm privy to is the same information. You can find it on the website. What they have proposed for the bypass is on a website for, it says LaporteBypassProject.com or something. But I do think that we've charged the engineering firm to re-examine the project and look for new ideas that are less invasive, and I have not seen those, and I would like to have a public meeting. It should be, there's no secrets here. This should be for everyone to look at. Council members, citizens, let's listen to the engineers and the consultants and have them tell us what is the least invasive proposal they can come up with. And then the community and the people that you elect to lead, be your voice, they'll have to decide.
All right. Councilwoman Grammarosa wanted to respond to that.
No.
No, okay. All right.
No. We'll move on because you know what? This is going to be tit for tat.
Okay.
The reality is they do get, the commission is on there. They're the ones that sign the contracts with Lockmuller. They're the ones to get the information first. The way that the council is set up with a finance committee within a finance committee. When people hire us for council, they think that they're hiring 7 people to make those decisions. In reality, there's another subcommittee within that council. And so not everyone is privy to that information. But that's for another day.
All right, yeah, we do need to take a commercial break here. But I did get a text from the city of LaPorte saying all of that information, the where the plans could go, is all online in public viewing if any council or commissioner wants to look at them. All right, let's take a quick break. We've got the commission candidates for District 1 here in LaPorte County that'll be on your ballots. Connie Grammarosa, current councilwoman of LaPorte County Council, and incumbent Democrat Sheila Matias is on the show. If you've got a question, you could text me 219-362-0522. We're going to take our final break of the day and be right back here on 96.7 The Eagle.
Hello, this is Sheila Brilson Matias, and I'm running for re-election as your LaPorte County Commissioner. Voters have 2 choices in this election: follow a path of disdain, disrespect, and quite frankly, discord and dishonesty, or let's talk about what's really important to you in your daily life. I work for you. I remain focused on creating good-paying jobs, expanding broadband for everyone, listening to real people, solving real problems that impact you. You know me. I raised my family here, so I understand your concerns. It's important to have a commissioner that can hear you, and I'm always listening. I will keep up my focus on civility, respectful discourse, and inclusion. I have done it before, I am doing it now, and with your vote, I will do it again. I respectfully ask for your vote on November 8th for me, Sheila Brilson Matias, LaPorte County Commissioner. For me, it's not about politics, it's about people. Paid for by the committee to re-elect Sheila Matias.
Paul's Auto Yard in Westfield is paying top dollar for junk cars and scrap metal, including copper, brass, and aluminum. Drive it in or have them haul it away for you. Put some fast cash in your pocket and get rid of that junk car, running or not. Need a part for your car or truck? You can pick and pull from any of Paul's Auto Yard locations. Paul's Auto Yard has been in the business for over 45 years and will beat anyone's price. Hey, don't take my word for it. Give them a call today, 219-785-2613. That's 219-785-2613.
Vote Fagan 2022. Who is Sean Fagan? He's a lawyer. He's a Republican. Sean Fagan, running for LaPorte County Prosecutor, 2022. Sean Fagan knows that LaPorte County is a great place to live, and he wants to keep it that way. Sean Fagan for LaPorte County Prosecutor, 2022. Be safe. Be strong. Let's work together. Vote Sean Fagan, 2022. This message paid for by Fagan for Prosecutor.
Hi, friends. Chief Deputy Ron Heeg here, and your Republican candidate for LaPorte County Sheriff. I'm a 25-year veteran of the Sheriff's Office, starting my career within the jail, working my way through the ranks to my current role of having the honor to serve as Sheriff Boyd's Chief Deputy. My campaign consists of 3 strategic goals: public safety, personnel investment, and community investment. I'm married to my wife, Heather, and we live in Kankakee Township with our daughters, Olivia and Allison. I humbly ask for your vote on or before November 8th. Paid for by Heeg for Sheriff.
Your opinion matters. We invite you to share it by calling or texting the Liquor Ball on-air line at 362-0522. That's 362-0522. Now, back to Sound Off on 96.7 The Eagle.
Welcome back, friends. We've got about 10 minutes left of the show. We've got LaPorte County Council District 1 candidates here in the studio. Republican challenger Connie Grammarosa, who's currently a LaPorte County Council member, and Democratic incumbent Sheila Matias. If you have a question, again, you can text me 219-362-0522 or email me at soundoff@967theeagle.com. A question, we'll start with Councilwoman Grammarosa this time. The 39 North Conservancy has a water issue. Their water agreement has sunsetted with the city of LaPorte because they need more water infrastructure that they're not willing necessarily to pay for, nor does the city want to pay for it. As you probably know, the city has offered to pay the $5 million or more for the water tower out there as long as they annex into the city. Some of the residents out there are wanting the county to kind of pay for that instead and to keep that area in the county. So what are your thoughts on the county potentially paying for the water infrastructure increases that they need? And secondly, and I'll give both of you guys this question. We'll start with Grandma Rosa. What are your thoughts on annexation? So let's do water tower first.
Okay, so obviously they do need a water tower out there. I mean, there's no question, hands down. When that whole Conservancy district started, it started with a small grant and a couple business owners. You know, once they had that up and running, I mean, it's obviously been a good quality of life out there. We've got some beautiful homes. Those people are living there. They are contributing to our tax base. We have Heinz Pixar that have really good paying jobs. The last thing we would want to do is lose any of those businesses. At some point, the businesses on the west side went ahead and joined that 39 North. And I think that it's been a wonderful thing, but I really do believe, and I'm really surprised that the county hasn't stepped in yet. You know, when all this started, I do think that, you know, you're looking at a lot of residents that live out in the county that are affected in that area. I think that the county should have stepped in a long time ago and tried to negotiate with the city and with the residents out there and figure out what we can do. What can we do? I mean, we just took in a whole bunch of money. We've already spent $11 million of the $21 million, but it's definitely something that we need to look at.
And then the second part of that is the annexation aspect. What are your thoughts on annexation for county residents into the city of LaPorte?
Well, I think that if folks wanted to be annexed in, they would have moved into a city. I mean, so at the end of the day, we as county officials should try to do what we can to help those folks out so that they're not annexed in. You know, they purposely moved out there and they wanted to be in that type of an area. So we really, again, I think that the county should have stepped in a while ago and we should have had this resolved already.
Thank you. I'll give you the same question, Commissioner Matias. We'll start with the 39 North Conservancy water issue. What are your thoughts?
So the water issue is a desperate situation. They do not have enough water pressure for increasing fire protection out there. So that's, to me, is a critical issue. I know that their board is applying for grants to try to get state support, but the ARP money is a perfect place to go for some of that support. If we could have that board apply for the residents that they represent to the council for, it would come to the commission for us to say that's a great idea, and then go to the council for suggested funding. I think that's a win-win for everyone. As far as annexation goes, I do not support unfriendly annexation. If you want to be annexed into a city, that certainly is an option, but that's a separate issue. So annexation would have to, the city would have to work through the paces on that. The water issue, however, is an issue that affects the residents that are currently there, the businesses that are currently there, but the opportunity for our county to develop in a healthy and sustainable way. So in order to get development, we need additional water out there. I have to say, I having been a mayor like Mayor Dermody, I believe that you can see a return to your city's investment by providing water and sanitary to areas outside of your city limits, and that's a good thing for it relieves your taxpayers from carrying that burden on their own. So there's a good financial return for the ratepayers, the water payers in LaPorte City. If they do provide water, that decreases the cost to the taxpayers because there would be more users. So I think there's a win-win for the city of LaPorte if Mayor Dermody would and the council would support giving those residents an increased supply of water and increased lines. It would relieve the ratepayers that are currently paying for LaPorte, because the more users you have, the lower the rate goes to everyone.
All right, here's a question we received on our text line here. Should a commissioner live in the county year-round and not partly in a condo in different parts of the country, Chicago, Florida, these kind of things? Yeah, and so, and what are your thoughts on that? We'll start with you, Commissioner Matias.
That is an urban myth, I guess, because I've heard that. I did live in Chicago for a very short time in a condo. I only own one piece of property. It's in Michigan City. It's the property that I bought. I came here from my travels outside of the community. I came back. I bought a piece of property, and I've been renovating it. That's where my roots are. I do not own any property in Chicago, in any other communities. I don't have a vacation home anywhere. I have one piece of property that I'm very proud to own right here in LaPorte County.
So you own no properties in Chicago?
I do not own any property anywhere in Chicago or anywhere else. I own one piece of property.
All right, I'll give you the same question. Councilwoman Grammarosa, should a commissioner live in the county year-round and not partly in a condo or somewhere else?
Well, I live here. Mm-hmm. I mean, I live here. I have all my businesses here. As a matter of fact, and we always tease because some folks will say to me, my kids, we have to provide better living for our children because our children move away. And in my situation, both my children followed me here. So my entire family lives here. All my children, I have nieces now moving closer to me. So, we have extended family moving here. So with me, there's not an issue of living away. I do think that during this COVID time, there were folks living outside of the state, and I think that we need to go back to pre-COVID. I think that folks need to live here. If you want to represent this town, you need to live here. You need to pay, and not just pay your taxes here, your income tax here, but really invest back into the community. So I would agree.
All right. Here's a question we received. I've got concerns for nepotism in the county. This is obviously, I'm reading the question. This is not mine. But we'll start with you, Councilwoman Grammarosa. So there's concerns about nepotism in this question. What are your thoughts? Should family members of elected officials be hired into the county? It's one thing to be already working there, but should people that are already elected hire their family members or others to work into the county?
Well, and obviously we have problems because under this commission, they've hired their children for cleaning services, and they didn't even go with the lowest bid. They went with a bid that was over 40% higher just to give their family member the cleaning bid. So, no, I don't believe that we should be doing that.
You think there should be a more robust nepotism clause there so that family members can't work into the county that aren't there kind of?
Well, you're going to find this even in private sector. Unfortunately, you're going to have situations where, you may work for a big company and not everybody is working directly under the supervision of each other. But definitely, I think that you have to look at our county employee book. Recently, we had somebody that they were trying to slip in making $30.52 an hour as a part-timer. We've had situations where we have a department head that's been gone for almost a year and is now on vacation. And, you listen to some of the stories that are going on and how badly neglected some of the buildings are. It's a problem, and it's definitely something we need to look into. A lot of folks will call in and they'll say, well, this one's related to that. And you really don't know. I mean, there's no real way of telling. And you can't sit up there and be the police and try to figure out who's related to who. If people are doing their job, God bless. But I don't think that, we should not be hiring our relatives and giving them contracts when they're definitely higher than some of the other contracts that came through.
I'll give you the same question, Commissioner Matias, about nepotism in the county.
Okay, I'd like to go back to the comment Mrs. Grammarosa said previously about pre-COVID. Just to be clear, I worked from home during COVID, just like millions and millions and millions of other people around the country and around the world. In a previous job, I worked for an education nonprofit, and I worked for 7 years 100% virtually, where I managed a national program from my computer. I hired people, I trained them, I ran programs. So I know that virtual work is work. There's no difference. In fact, I think you work harder when you're working virtually because there's nobody stopping by to sell you Girl Scout cookies or to show you pictures of their new babies. But that being said, around nepotism, I don't have any family members that are working as employees of the county. My husband, who's a clinical psychologist, does do psychological assessments, because they are court-ordered by the judge, and there's only 3 or 4 psychologists in the county that are trained to do those assessments. So occasionally he will get an assessment from one of the judges. He gets a court order with 2 psychologists on there, and both of them are being required by the court to complete an assessment to make sure that someone is fit, competent to stand trial. Usually they're people that are in the LaPorte County Jail. So I just want to put that out there because his work is important, and it is a service to the community that there's a few people that can do that. But as far as we're a small county. We are a huge geographically situated county, it's second or third largest in the state, but we have many, many families that have many, many cousins and uncles and aunts. So if you wanted to do a chart on all of the people in the county and how they're related. There's a lot of people who've lived here for 100 years as a family, generations upon generations, and many of them are related. So I can't really say that you can't have any family members, because I know there are currently some family members, for example, in some of our departments that have, the grandpa worked there and now the grandson works there. I don't think that you can stop some of that, but certainly I will tell you one of my greatest discoveries about being a commissioner, and I say this with sincerity, the quality of county employees is amazing to me. There are people who could make much more money in the private sector. They come to work every day in the judiciary, in maintenance, in the clerk's office, in all the different county departments, because the health department, for example, because they care about this community and they want to spend their life's work taking care of people and taking care of the community. So I have nothing but absolute honor for those employees.
All right, we are over time, but I want to give you guys each 30 seconds to tell our listeners, where they can find you for more information, these kind of things. I want to thank so much our listeners, again, for participating. I will give all of the commissioner candidates the questions that you asked so that they can answer those questions if they would like on their social media feed or wherever they choose to answer them. But we'll start with you, Councilwoman Grammarosa. Again, thank you so much for being here. I'll give you 30 seconds to tell our listeners where to find you and why they should vote for you.
Well, my name is Connie Grammarosa, and you can reach me via Facebook. I take messages on my regular Facebook or Commissioner Connie for Commissioner. I am around all the time. My phone number is 219-221-7326. I often give out my phone number on the air. Call me. Ask me whatever question you want. I'm transparent. We talk about career politicians, and I have been here in less than 3 years. I have invested my own money in the community. I believe that I would be a fresh change. We talk about civility on the council, on the commission, and the reality is that there's a lot of people being attacked at those meetings, private citizens. And it's always a little too late with an apology. We've had situations where they've gone after department heads. They've taken things not knowing where to return the items. They took a motor van, didn't know where to return it. And it's because of lack of knowledge of how our government works. I've been there. I know how it works, and I really do look forward to serving all of LaPorte County with civility.
And thank you so much again, Councilwoman Gramarosa. All right, Commissioner Matias, I'll give you 30 seconds to give our listeners where they can find you.
Thanks so much. So thanks for having me today, Nate. I really appreciate it, and for the team here at WCOE. My name is Sheila Brosa Matias. I have served this community and proudly served this community for several different positions. I'm proud of my record of taking care of people, solving problems, and doing it with integrity and respect. I'm a person who believes in inclusion, in equity, in respect for all people of all types of people. We all call this place our home, and we want to build it and make it better. How you can reach me? I have a Facebook page. Let me see look, Commissioner Sheila Matias. I also have a webpage, votesheilam.com, and my phone number is 219-221-2375. I get text messages all day, so text is a really great way to reach me, so I'll say that again, 219-221-2375. Sheila Matias, I would appreciate your vote on November